Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here. With our theme today of driving, my twist on it is that I want to be driving home my point so that you all join with me in this issue. And I think you'll see that I am not indecisive, in my opinion, about this issue. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead with my speech titled, Lean In or Fall Down. To me, the most important thing about this book, Lean In, Women, Work, and the Will to Lead by Sheryl Sandberg, is the discussion that it has sparked. When her interview with 60 Minutes aired over 3 weeks ago, the discussion was fast and furious around the world and definitely on the internet. My own initial reaction as I watched it was, are you kidding me? You know, what planet did she fall on? That's not reality in the workplace. But as I began to read and participate in these discussions, I realized she actually had some valid points. So I really did read the book thoroughly. But now I want to go back in time a little bit to give you some of my perspective on what my opinion is. I was raised a baby boomer in an Italian family. And back in the late 1950s, my mother went to work full-time. I was 4 years old. Okay, that was pretty unusual. That contributed to kind of a family dynamic, if you will. My dad controlled the money, down to the penny, even though my mother made more money than he did. Okay. Money and the Catholic Church were valued and prized for their comfort and security. Gender roles were strictly followed, which meant my mother went to work full-time and yet managed an entire household, 3 children, and anything that had to do with all of us. Dad took care of the outside. That meant shoveling the snow and mowing the lawn. And he did Mr. Fix's stuff. I will give him that. And he loved us dearly. We were raised with the mantra, work hard, do your best, you'll succeed. And one other thing, we were economically encouraged, and actually not given an option, that college would be, in fact, part of our life, and that was for economic considerations. But interestingly enough, there were 3 of us, and my sister and I, it was framed for us as in, you need something to fall back on. We all see how that worked out for us. We did no falling back. We went forward. But the 60s unfolded with all of its social change, and probably one of the ones that affected me the most was the women's liberation movement. By the time I graduated high school, I announced I wouldn't be married till I was 27, and I would have a career. I achieved both of those goals. I married within 5 days of turning 27. But let's fast forward, because I didn't realize at the time how deeply my childhood teachings really affected me. I really did have a successful career if you look at it, but in so many ways, I got in my own way because of who I am. There were bumps and bruises and curveballs thrown along the way, and my acquiescence and my lack of desire to fight back really did cost the career. I was left many times feeling powerless, and I assumed that. Here's some examples, not all of them by any means. I was paid less than men in equivalent or lesser positions, despite many times doing far more work and better work than they. I really believed work hard and deliver results and you'll get ahead. I did, I believe that. And I did let men run the show. Part of it was because it was tiring and stressful to fight back. And frankly, that got worse after I had children. I felt I needed the job, and the security was important to me. And when I did dig in and stand up for myself and or for other female colleagues, I was called a bitch, bossy, and every other derogatory word that women internalize that make them feel like lesser citizens in the workplace. So now enters Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook and author of this book. She wants us to lean in. She exhorts that. She means stand up for yourself and adopt the same attitudes as men. That's not as easy as it seems. But as I read this book, she cites many of her own mistakes that she repeatedly made and actually still fights herself in making today. But she doesn't just talk about herself. She brings in discussions from other women, as well as the backing up with studies and research that really show that these attitudes are pervasive from the time we're little girls in school. And we're actually internalized to doubt our own capabilities and feel less about ourselves. So the purpose in her book is actually to show women the path to the C-suite, to be the CEO or senior executives. Not every woman, frankly, nor every man wants that, but there is power in this book in helping us understand what we need to do. And one of the most important points to me is that when we assume the mantle of acceptance of inequality, that's exactly what we get. One of the cases and points that she makes is that in a recent study by Catalyst, only about 4% of the women CEOs of Fortune 5, only 4% of the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies are women. That's staggering when you consider we occupy 50% or greater of the workforce. But she exhorts that we must lean in to make change, and it will affect results. But let's go. Why did this happen? Did women's lib fail? I don't think so. As one of the professional women of the 70s and 80s, we got what we aimed for. We created opportunities for professional women and educational opportunities for girls. But here's where we went wrong. We let the discussion end because we won, or we thought we did. So by our actions and our teachings to our daughters and our sons, we didn't convey the rest, where the social change is necessary to change the attitudes at their core level. You can ask any father of a young daughter if she's the boy next to her, and he'll say yes. But now what we need to do is move that into the actions and the beliefs and the formation, so that our daughters and our sons grow up and understand that despite your gender, you should have equality to achieve. The woman who wants the C-suite shouldn't face more barriers than man, and nor should he be expected to not want to be participatory in his family. We must continue this conversation. This book isn't only Sandberg's story. She's got data and experiences from many sources. We must keep this momentum going. I don't have all the answers, and neither does Sheryl Sandberg. But I invite you to join the conversation. We need to keep it going. Will you please